Imagine with me that one day, randomly, you notice your partner begins to act differently. Not in a way that would necessarily make you think twice about it, but definitely different. It starts with fruit on the floor of your garden, but your partner is just feeding the mice that nested in your shed. How sweet. But then your partner starts baking cakes and making you food, which is something they've never previously done before, but they just picked up a hobby. But then you begin to notice you feel off after eating. Dizzy, sick, but it's probably just your hormones and a lack of sleep, right? Never in a million years would you think that all these sweet, kind gestures were actually hiding something much more sinister, much more dangerous, life-threatening. The following story came to my attention when I was scrolling on Instagram and came across a reel by Chase Morales.
Let's talk about when OP was unknowingly being fed homemade escargot by her boyfriend. 5 years ago, OP made this post to the Relationships Advice subreddit. This is an entry on tier 6 of the disturbing Reddit post Iceberg. The full tier is out now. But let me know what you guys think about this, and would you ever try this yourself? Let me know.
And I knew I had to do some investigating myself. Because we read so many Reddit stories on this channel, plus the series, it was like a perfect meshing of things. So our story begins over 5 years ago, when a user by the name of smallbean197 posted onto the subreddit r/relationship advice a post titled, "I found my partner has been putting slugs in my food. I don't know how to forgive him." The post, now locked, archived, and no longer able to be interacted with, hit over 1,000 upvotes and 304 comments. The entirety of the post was gone, but thankfully, a user by the name of rainbow_drizzle on r/best of Redditor updates posted the entirety of the story there 4 years ago. And the first post went as followed. I, 22 female, have been with my partner, 24 male, for 4 years now. I have never known him to do anything like this, but I noticed he started acting a little strange around a month and a half ago. He started putting fruit on the floor in the garden, and I thought it was a bit weird, but he said he was feeding the mice family that have nested in our shed, so I thought it was sweet and helped him to do so. Anyways, he started being really nice to me around 2 weeks ago and was making me food, baking me cakes and stuff, which he never usually cooks ever, so I was happy he found a hobby. I did notice sometimes I felt sick and dizzy after eating, and I just put it down to a lack of sleep, or hormones. Anyways, a friend of my partner's came into my work today. I work in a cafe, and said he needed to speak to me when I was free. I was free as there wasn't any customers at this time. He told me that my partner has been collecting slugs from the garden on fruit he has been putting out there and putting them in my food, blending them up, and even sent this friend of his pictures of the bag of slugs he collected and the picture of blended slugs. I feel really sick to my stomach. I don't understand why he would do this. This is so out of character of him. I asked him why he was doing it, and he accused me of snooping through his messages, which I would never do, and got so angry at me for not being able to take a joke. I feel disgusting. I love him to pieces, but I just don't understand his way of thinking just now. Am I overreacting? I don't know what to do. I feel lost. And if this wasn't insane enough, there were more updates to follow. Update, my partner has secretly been feeding me slugs and don't know what to do. I'm receiving messages telling me to please don't do that, as I am highly sensitive just now. I went to urgent care last night, / the early hours of morning, and waited and was finally seen around 6 a.m.-ish. I had some tests, and I have a high level of 𝘚𝘠𝘭𝘚 in my blood. I was kept in for monitoring, and I have some ulcers in my stomach. I was aware of this anyways, as I was hospitalized about 2 months ago for a burst ulcer. Originally thought it was stress, but they now said it could be because of the poisoning. I could have an infection of some kind, as my temperature is high, but they haven't found anything that could be causing that yet. They have checked my heart, and it is fine. I am due to have heart surgery this year, though, but they're delaying it due to ulcers and infections and the fact I keep getting sick, which is okay. I have an appointment to see my cardiologist on the 20th of April. I contacted the police and wrote a statement and was asked some questions. Anyone who knows me in real life, please don't post mine or my partner's name, as the police said it would destroy the investigation. Not the exact words they used, but I am unsure. I was in a daze. My ex refused to say anything to the police or to me. However, he did say he would speak to his friend, and only him. He then spoke to me. I was not alone. I was with a friend, and his friend too. He confessed to doing some random experiments on me / tests starting a few months after we moved in together. It started with spitting on my toast, and then a week later he replaced my propanolol beta blockers with salt, emptied capsules. I want to add he was my medication holder as I have a history of so he handled my meds and gave them to me, and that's when he thought it would be funny. He also admitted to these things, swapping my 𝘠𝘠𝘗𝘓𝘕 vegetarian sausages with real meat. I have IBS and struggled to digest meat, so became a vegetarian. He also replaced my nuggets with his real ones. One of my pet giant African land snails went missing in summer, and I assumed it escaped since I left the lid open on their box, but he said it had died, so he scraped it out and put it in my curry. I vaguely remember the day he did this, as he laughed whenever I went to eat the curry. And I got really paranoid, so I put it in the kitchen and stormed off. He then brought it upstairs and told me to taste it, and I did, and I realized he added loads of chili, and he said he was laughing because he put chili powder in and too much came out. Now I think he must have put the chili in to cover the fact he put my snail in there. He also said he rubbed my toothbrush on the toilet, but then washed it as he thought that was too far. I feel like all of this is a dream. It just seems too dramatic to feel real. I am unsure what is happening on the legal front. He says he didn't know why he did this, and that he does love me truly, and that he felt compelled to do it. Which I understand, as I suffer from OCD and get compulsions / impulsions, and that he really loves taking care of me, and he feels it's his purpose, and he didn't mean to cause serious harm. He promises he never did this to any of our animals. I think he could just be stressed, as I have mental health issues that could have caused something in him to break from too much stress. I'm really sad and sorry for those who I caused concern. Too long didn't read. My partner has been secretly feeding me slugs, been to hospital, some damage, but nothing too serious, I hope. Then Small Bean went on to post onto her account, rather than a subreddit, an image with 4 dead slugs that she had found under the sink. And a fair warning, this is going to be gross to look at for some viewers. The poster who brought this story onto r/best of Redditor updates also provided us with comments expressing concern for the original poster. Quoting the post, in the comments, many are asking if she has gone to the doctor. She has, and it is revealed that he did more than feed her slugs. He promised he never did this to any of your animals, but your dog recently had lungworm, and he admitted to making you eat your pet snail. He replaced your heart medication with salt and tampered with your food, knowing that you have IBS. There is nothing funny about that. He has endangered your health and those of your pets. Stress doesn't make anyone do this. He's not safe for you or your pets. These are not the actions of someone who loves taking care of you. They are cruelty. Please, stop blaming yourself. I understand your struggles with both mental and physical health, and the need for someone to love and care for you, but if you value your life, and those of the animals you adopted, he can never be trusted again. Somewhere during all this, the original poster posts this comment. Hi, he was diagnosed with ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, yesterday and admitted everything to me and how I was his way of looking normal to the outside world. He manipulated me by giving me everything I wanted as BPD sufferer, love, affection, compliments. He began testing me emotionally at first with cheating to see how I would react, but I forgave him and then began with the food and stuff to see how long until I got sick. I am still baffled. The person I knew, I never really knew at all. He is a psychopath, and he gives ASPD sufferers a bad name. He knew I was vulnerable due to my mental and physical illnesses. He became my carer, but was torturing me at the same time, and I was unaware of any of this. He rescued me from an abusive situation and then put me into a new one. That is how he works. And within that same year, she posted onto r/advice. I'm struggling to eat, fear of food, no appetite. I recently left a weird relationship where my partner was contaminating my food, etc. Anyways, ever since, I have struggled to eat. I moved into a ground floor flat, and sometimes I will find slugs around the house. I am terrified of them. I keep throwing food away because I don't know what the slugs have gone on. I am scared of getting sick. I can't cope or breathe right now. I have tried everything to stop slugs getting in: copper tape, salt, non-toxic pellets, but they still somehow find their way into my flat. I feel like nature is tormenting me. Any advice, please? I have tried speaking to my doctor, but they won't really listen, and the doctor I see said it was a good thing as I was overweight anyways. I was just discharged from the mental health team I was currently on. It would seem that she finally grasped the gravity of the situation her partner put her in, and this was clearly causing some issues. I'm no doctor, and I don't want to self-diagnose, but it sounds a lot like PTSD. And this was the final update she posted. I'm alive. Hello everyone. Sorry for those I didn't get to message back. My messages have been so full. I am alive, but I've been sick with coronavirus. Thank you to those who reached out to me. You all made me feel less alone. Hope everyone is well. And as of 2 months ago, I saw that she was still active in comment sections, so as far as I am able to tell, she made it through. Now, you might be wondering about this method of poisoning someone, as I saw many people bring up the fact of escargot, which is in fact not the same thing. Escargot is a snail, eaten throughout Africa, Southeast Asia, and parts of Europe, while the slug is completely different. So, this is not escargot. Consuming raw slugs, or ill-prepared slugs, can result in severe consequences. They can be carrying parasites. And one particular parasite, it's called rat lungworm, and it damages your brain and spinal cord, which could cause seizures, and in rare cases, an infection of the brain called 𝘠𝘜𝘭𝘠𝘓𝑜𝘠𝑒𝑛𝑐𝑒phalitis. People with this condition develop headaches, stiff neck, tingling or pain in the skin, fever, nausea, and vomiting. The time between eating the slug or snail and getting sick is usually between 1 to 3 weeks. And as for the metaldehyde poisoning, metaldehyde is a pesticide that's used against snails, slugs, and also used as a fuel. If ingested by humans, it can cause vomiting, nausea, irritability, sleepiness, fever, muscle twitching, convulsions, coma, as well as damage to your liver and kidneys potentially. There is, beyond no shadow of a doubt, that he had clear intentions to end her life. I would never want to accuse someone of something I didn't fully believe, but let's reframe our thinking a little bit. So, when we look at the post and we break it down, it started with him spitting in her toast. You wouldn't do that to someone you loved. But then, he replaced her beta blockers with salt, which in and of itself is so insane. I actually take the exact same beta blockers myself, and a quick Google search reveals that it actually is risky to stop taking beta blockers cold turkey. So we know something was off with her heart. Not allowing someone access to a medication that prevents illness, helps keep symptoms at bay, is extremely dangerous and just in and of itself an awful thing to do. She had a history of and he was her medication holder, which makes all of this so much more terrifying when you really think about it. He swapped her vegetarian food for meat. IBS is not a fun thing to suffer from, and her knowing exactly what causes a lot of her symptoms, and then him giving it to her anyway, it's damaging, it's cruel, and it's abusive. Apparently, poisoning his girlfriend wasn't going too far, but rubbing her toothbrush on the toilet was, which, disinfected or not, still disgusting. One of the most cruel parts of this was her pet giant African land snail, which was most likely killed by him. Put into her food, and then he laughed in her face when she unknowingly ate it. And then he lied to her face and said he put too much chili powder in it. He chalked it up to a joke, accused her of snooping through his messages, and was only caught because of his friend telling on him. Without this friend, who knows what would have happened. This clearly left her with some lasting issues, as evidenced by her post about being scared to eat food, and being scared of the slugs in her flat. And I don't blame her for being absolutely terrified of the slugs in her flat, because going through what she went through, you would be so cautious from then. She had many health issues, and then on top of this, he caused more. I have no idea if this man ever saw jail time. I have combed through the internet for any follow-ups or anything posted elsewhere about this, but I'm pretty sure she's not based in America, so there's a lot of things I wouldn't be able to look up living where I live. I'm hoping he was at least charged for attempted murder. There's absolutely no way he didn't think this through. He plotted, he planned, and he went through with it. If not for the friend, it is absolutely terrifying to think about what could have happened to her. Would this have been caught too late, and would she ended up much more ill, or worse? At the end of all this, it seems she got away safe. They ended their relationship, she got away from him, and I'm glad. I just hope that wherever she is now, she's safe and she's well, and that she is healed from this experience. We're going off script here. We read a lot of Reddit stories on this channel, right? And, you know, a lot of them I'm like, this is fake, this is stupid, this is seriously dumb. But, you know, as I was reading through this post, I sat there and I realized how many of us kind of, I don't know if I'm using this word right, we have kind of like this parasocial relationship with these stories. We read them, and all we really see them is as stories. We don't see the people behind the post, we don't see the victims behind the thing, we don't see who these people actually are. And a lot of these are treated kind of like just entertainment. You know, you'll find those TikTok videos where people are doing Minecraft parkour with the voiceover reading a story about an awful situation that happened to someone. And this story is no exception. Someone's life was quite literally at stake. So when I was researching this, I was like, I want to go about this respectfully. I want to talk about her as a victim, but she is so much more than a victim. She overcame something that must be terrifying to live through. Like, I cannot imagine finding out that my partner of multiple years that I live with was attempting to end my life and just in general doing disgusting things. I am someone who has health issues, so this kind of hit close to home. The thought of someone close to you poisoning you and most likely attempting to end your life, it probably would have escalated to that point had this not been caught. I also want to say, the friend, that must have been scary. Like, imagine a friend tells you, this is what I'm doing to my girlfriend. This is how I've been poisoning her. How would you honestly react to that? I think a lot of us would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the police, but that must be terrifying to be told the story just so casually. It shocks me the lengths people can go to hurt others, genuinely. It's genuinely so insane to even imagine, to even think about. This is the type of thing you hear on like a Dateline or a 2020. You know, this is not something you would come across on Reddit normally. This is probably one of the darkest Reddit posts I've come across. It's just so hard to believe the lengths people will go to hurt others. Last month, we skipped Dark Side of the Internet, which, in case you're new here, this is a newer series. I started it in January. This is gonna be our 3rd episode. I don't want to chalk this up to, like, entertainment, video series. I want to spread this story because I think it's amazing what she overcame. And it's horrifying, and maybe there's someone out there going through something similar. You never know. I'm not the only one who has posted stuff about this. I have intentionally, whenever I'm doing research, I intentionally don't check out other people's stuff because I'm afraid of, like, copying them, or they give false info, and I'm like, oh, let me put that into video. With stuff like this, it's really hard to research because it's based around a now deleted Reddit post, so it's kind of like, am I getting accurate info? I did my research, I did the best I could, so if anything is incorrect, you will see it corrected down in the comment section below, and if you spot anything you're like, you got that wrong, please let me know, and I will try to make a correction the best of my ability. As I always say at the end of these videos, this was entirely researched, scripted, filmed, edited, posted by me. And I love it. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you want to support this series on the channel, there's a couple of things you can do. Number 1, you can like the video so I can tell how many people enjoy this type of content. Number 2, you can subscribe to join me on this YouTube journey we call life. And if you want to help, you can. You don't have to. And number 3, comment down below something you would like to see investigated or looked into or just talked about on this channel, because I'm totally down and willing to do it. And if you're too shy to comment it, there will be a Google form you can fill out, totally anonymous. You can say whatever you want there. Be nice though. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you all here next time.